Hello and welcome. Today, we bring you the haunting and mysterious story of one of the greatest writers of all time, Edgar Allan Poe. Through this story, you'll not only learn about his tragic life, but also come across new English words and phrases that will help you improve your vocabulary. So, sit back and listen carefully as we take you on a journey through the dark and fascinating world of Edgar Allan Poe. This is a tale of genius and madness, love and loss, and a death shrouded in mystery. It is the story of a man who, despite his struggles, changed the world of literature forever. Are you ready to step into the shadows? Let's begin. Edgar Allan Poe was born in 1809, but from the very start, his life was filled with sorrow. When he was just a child, his parents, who were both actors, passed away, leaving him an orphan. He was taken in by a wealthy family, the Allans, but his relationship with them was strained. Though they provided for him, they never truly accepted him as their own. As he grew older, Poe's love for literature deepened. He had a brilliant mind, one that saw the world differently, but society was not kind to dreamers. While others sought careers in business or law, Poe wanted to be a writer, a choice that led him down a path of poverty and struggle. Despite his hardships, Poe's talent was undeniable. His poetry and short stories were unlike anything people had read before. They were dark, mysterious, and filled with emotion. But the world was not yet ready for his genius. As he pursued his literary career, he found love in Virginia Clem, his cousin, whom he married when she was just 13. Their love was deep and pure, but it was also marked by hardship. Poe's unstable income made life difficult, and Virginia's health was fragile. Then, in 1842, tragedy struck. Virginia showed signs of tuberculosis, the same disease that had taken Poe's mother. From that moment, his life became a living nightmare. Poe's love for Virginia kept him going, but their life together was filled with pain. He tried desperately to earn money through his writing, but the literary world was harsh. He was known as a brilliant but difficult man. His sharp critiques of other writers made him enemies, and his struggles with alcohol made people hesitant to work with him. Meanwhile, Virginia's condition worsened. Some days, she seemed fine, smiling and singing. Other days, she could barely breathe. Poe watched helplessly as the love of his life slipped away. He tried everything, writing more, drinking to escape his sorrow, but nothing could change fate. In 1847, Virginia passed away, leaving Poe utterly broken. For weeks, he wandered his home like a ghost, speaking to Virginia as if she were still there. He poured his grief into his writing, creating one of his most famous poems, Annabel Lee, in her memory. But nothing could fill the void she left behind. Without Virginia, Poe saw no reason to continue. He drifted from city to city, his mind growing more unstable. He proposed to Sarah Elmira Royster, his childhood sweetheart, hoping to find comfort, but by then, he was too lost in his pain. His final dream was to start his own literary magazine, The Stylus, but fate had other plans. In September 1849, Poe left Richmond for Baltimore. He was supposed to continue to Philadelphia, but something happened. Something that remains a mystery to this day. For several days, he disappeared. Then, on October 3rd, he was found outside a tavern, delirious, wearing clothes that were not his own. His mind was shattered, and his words made no sense. He kept muttering one name, Reynolds. A passerby saw the disoriented man and approached him. "Sir, are you all right?" the man asked. Poe lifted his head, his eyes unfocused. "Reynolds, Reynolds," he whispered. The man, realizing something was terribly wrong, rushed Poe to Washington College Hospital. There, doctors examined him, but his condition only worsened. For 4 days, he drifted in and out of consciousness. He screamed in terror, muttered strange phrases, and cried out for someone who wasn't there. Then, on the morning of October 7th, 1849, Poe's breathing grew weaker. His fever burned through his body, and his mind slipped further into darkness. A nurse sat by his side. "Mr. Poe, can you hear me?" she asked softly. His eyes fluttered open for a brief moment. In a hoarse whisper, he spoke his final words. "Lord, help my poor soul." Then, his body trembled, and the light in his eyes faded. The world barely noticed Poe's death. His funeral was small, attended by only a handful of people. No grand speeches were made, and he was buried in an unmarked grave. But time would prove that his genius could not be forgotten. As the years passed, Poe's works gained the recognition they deserved. His stories and poems inspired generations of writers, filmmakers, and artists. His influence could be seen in the works of H.P. Lovecraft, Stephen King, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And then, another mystery began. For over 70 years, an unknown visitor dressed in black would come to Poe's grave on his birthday, leaving roses and a bottle of cognac. No one knew who this mysterious figure was or why they honored him this way. The tradition, like Poe's stories, remains a mystery. Even in death, Edgar Allan Poe refused to be forgotten. His words still haunt the pages of literature, his tales still send shivers down readers' spines, and his name still echoes through the halls of horror. He is there, in the flickering candlelight of a late-night reader. He is there, in the whispers of a poem recited in a dimly lit room. And he is there, every time someone hears the tapping at their chamber door. And that, dear listeners, was the tragic yet fascinating story of Edgar Allan Poe, the master of horror. His life was filled with pain and hardship, yet his words continue to inspire and terrify people around the world. From his mysterious death to the chilling tales he left behind, his legacy remains one of the most unforgettable in literary history. Through this story, you've not only learned about Poe's journey but also encountered new English words and phrases. We hope you found it both engaging and educational. If you enjoyed this story, let us know in the comments. What was your favorite part? Do you have a favorite Edgar Allan Poe story or poem? Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that help you learn English in an exciting way. Until next time, beware the shadows.